So hello everyone, welcome to our live show on Binance Live, and this is your host Moonlight from Oliver's. Today, I think it's very for a lot of friends, right? It's a very relaxing time because almost the Lunar New Year, and I know a lot of our audience celebrate Lunar New Year. So I wanted to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year in advance. And we have a lot of guest speakers today. I know our audience cannot see all of them, right? But I would like to quickly introduce them to our audience over here. So we have guest speaker Darren from DappOS, and we also have our speaker, the Coin Flip Canada, okay, core contributor of GMX.io, and also we have Chris, he's the founder of DAO Maker. We have Julian, head of BD at ApeSwap. Also have Leo, founder of Atem. I think, is that Atem? Or
yes.
Okay,
exactly.
thank you. Atem Network. Thank you so much. So yeah, we have a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guest speakers, and we are going to talk about BTC or Ethereum in 2023 and more, or doing lots of very interesting topic. I believe everyone wants to learn about it and want to hear from our guest speakers' opinions. So let's starting from Darren. Could you please introduce yourself to our Binance Live audience? I know everyone already know you, but still we have new friends, new audience. So please introduce yourself. Thank you, Darren.
Hi, everyone. My name is Darren Mayberry. I'm the ecosystem lead at DappOS. I'm based in Singapore. As always, it's great to be here. It's an honor to be on any panel that Moonlight is hosting. And we have some great projects. We have some great projects as well that I'm eager to hear from myself. So what we believe at DappOS is that Web3 needs to be more intuitive. There's varying user experiences across platforms. Right now, it's hard to find some of the best projects, and some of those projects suffer from liquidity issues. They can't get on major exchanges. We saw with the bull market that maybe some of the best projects weren't as successful as they wanted. But from the user side, the user experience has always been difficult in Web3. It's not something that Web3 excels at. You have to follow all these projects and go to their specific Telegram, follow their updates, and there's a certain skill set you have to learn. You have to become kind of like a Web3 native. You have to manage gas fees, and you have to navigate slippage, and you have to, have your your long recovery phrase. And I think there are some really curious, adventuresome, smart people out there who, combined with all the complexity of Web3 and all the negative media that our space unfortunately gets, our industry attracts a lot of nasty op-eds, considering what other industries get. I think a lot of people are turned off from Web3 because they have Web2 right there. It's easy and accessible, and they hit some of the obstacles, some of the anxieties, and they're turned off. So what we're trying to do at DappOS is we're trying to manage crypto infrastructure for users. What does that mean? We're building a cushion between the end infrastructure to ease the convoluted workflow without compromising security. So right now we are partnered with, for example, Perpetual Protocol, as well as Benki. We have live links that are going, pilot programs that are going. You can go on these. You could take your ETH, you can take your BNB, or you can even take DAI now, the DAI stablecoin from MakerDAO, and you can trade directly on Perpetual or Benki, either of those, and you don't need to buy the native token to pay gas fees. That's what we have for you. Right away, that's our pilot program, but we have much bigger plans. But I want to hear from the other speakers, so I'm gonna stop there.
Thank you so much, Darren. And yeah, I believe in Singapore, a lot of people also busily preparing for the Lunar New Year, right? So we should happy Lunar New Year in advance. And next, we would like to invite our Coin Flip Canada to introduce yourself, and this is a core contributor from GMX.io. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. So I represent GMX as a contributor. I oversee effectively ecosystem development and partnerships. We're actually really excited that we're actually we're working with DappOS as well on a pilot program, and really do love this idea of really bringing simplicity for the user experience. And that's actually been a big part of what GMX has also tried to do as a protocol. So GMX is a on-chain perpetuals and swap exchange currently on Arbitrum and Avalanche. And we just try to, bring a really simple, clear user experience over into the on-chain environment, but while combining the experience that you would typically get, let's say, on a platform like Binance, but supporting it with liquidity pools and other innovations like live oracles, taking that pricing to give that experience to people, directly from their own self-sovereign wallets. And we've been really excited about, just continuing to work with DappOS, Binance, everybody.
Awesome. Welcome. Yes, I have heard a lot of great news about GMX.io. And so later we are going to ask you the very first question. Be prepared, and friends also stay here to learn more from our guests here. This is kind of like learn and earn, right? Learning while we're also earning some tokens. And next we're going to bring back on to Chris. He's the founder of DAO Maker. Please introduce yourself and your project to the audience. Thank you. Oh,
I think Chris may have hopped off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. And let's go to Julian, head of BD at ApeSwap. Please introduce yourself and your project to our audience over here. Let me see, how many do we have? We have several hundred over here. Thank you. And welcome to Julian.
Awesome. Thank you so much. As mentioned, my name is Julian. I am co-head of business development over at ApeSwap. And to give you a bit of a rundown on ApeSwap, we are essentially a decentralized exchange and DeFi hub. It's been around since about February 2021. So coming up on our 2-year anniversary here, which we're super excited about. And as mentioned, we are primarily a decentralized exchange, but we also have a few other services as well, namely a launchpad, a lending protocol, and most recently a bonding protocol, which we are definitely the most excited about at this point. And today, we're very focused on sustainability, helping projects diversify their treasuries away from their native assets, and helping them build up their own protocol-owned liquidity, so that we can hopefully all together march towards a more unified and sustainable DeFi landscape. Very excited to be on today, excited for this discussion, and thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much, and welcome, Julian. Next, we would like to invite Leo, founder of Atem Network, to introduce yourself and the project. So actually, we have over 1,100 audience over here already. Thank you.
Hi, and thanks for introduction. I'm the founder of Atem Network. Atem is a decentralized content creation protocol. We aim at helping creators tokenize their content and build Web3 native communities. And on top of our protocol, we have already built 2 products, Atem Review and Atem Chat. Atem Chat is a Web3 community social platform, and we have already attracted over 50K users and created over 7,000 NFT groups on top of Atem Chat. Atem Review is a Web3 content sharing platform that we recently launched, and within 1 month, we have attracted over 10,000 users, created over 100,000 interactions, and generated over 1,000 content every day. This is the basic introduction of Atem Network. Thank you.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you so much, and welcome all our guest speakers to today's live streaming. And please feel free to contact Chris if he's still able to join us. And some audience, they have been waiting for this session to start and already type our guess your project names. And the first question, we're going to go to GMX representative, which is our CoinFlip Canada. This is a question for you. We know that last year around Thanksgiving, GMX earned more in trading fees than Uniswap. Can this rapid expansion be attributed to your company voting with Dillman? And also, after a hard year for DeFi, we know 2022 is really not easy for us, right? What are your predictions for DeFi development in this year, 2023? Thank you.
Thanks, Moonlight. Yeah, so having these sites that track fees and sort of highlighted a lot of the activity that GMX has sort of generated within the DeFi space has been really validating. And I think we sort of look at that, and for us, actually, a lot of it does have to do with the Web3 experience and the fact that being a community-led protocol, we've effectively grown in a way that the liquidity providers for the platform come from our community. They're in our TGs. They're providing direct feedback on how the platform and the protocol should be developed. The traders are from the same environment. Effectively, there is a sense of cooperation collectively to create this and really have very little friction compared to, I would say, traditional, let's say, software development where somebody goes, they build, and they come back and say, now do people want to use what I've done? We're continuously finding product market fit because it's our community that's actually saying, this is what we need, this is what we want, and that's how we continue to develop. In terms of how DeFi does in 2023, I think I'll maybe speak to the part that I've realized that sort of, as builders, we end up actually oddly getting really focused on what we're building. And that's the part I think I can say with a definitive statement, which is you will see wonderful development, be it from us, be it from others coming out this year. I think, building does take time. And I think for all the noise about the markets going down and everything happening last year in 22, people were building. And I think I'm seeing so many wonderful products that are, for example, working with us on GMX, people who are building liquidity vaults underneath, people who are building trading platforms over top. You're just seeing the base layer of DeFi growing. So my prediction is wonderful products in 2023. Tokens, I don't know.
I see. Well, I also, myself, I think that last year was a little bit tougher, and I actually have high hope for this year, but not too high. Okay, moderate hope for this year, and I could see that a lot of people also feel like, well, at least at the beginning of this year, right, make us feel good at the market situations. Next, we are going to bring our question to Julian from ApeSwap. So one of the innovative products of ApeSwap are treasury bills. Can you explain to our audience? So far, we have close to 2,000 audience over here. Why projects should select owning liquidity over renting it? And also, how about what is the treasury bills?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think it makes sense to take a bit of a step back there for sure. So, as I mentioned before, ApeSwap is and has been primarily a decentralized exchange. And kind of through this journey of being a decentralized exchange, we've learned a lot about sustainability, inflationary tokenomics. And I think one of the biggest lessons we learned was, yield farming, and I guess how unsustainable those mechanics really are, right? Essentially, projects take an allocation of their tokens or the tokenomics and reserve those for renting liquidity, effectively just giving away tokens in exchange for temporary liquidity on decentralized exchanges. Now, at the end of the day, right, when you fast forward 1-2 years down the line, what happens when those rewards run out? Well, effectively, users pull their liquidity and you run out of liquidity on decentralized exchanges. So the project is left without any liquidity, and they're left with a massive hole in their treasury balance from having given all those tokens away for free. So, we as ApeSwap and as a decentralized exchange were some of the biggest offenders in this field of yield farming and liquidity mining. as we're so heavily reliant on our own token, Banana, which is emitted every block on BNB chain and is actually an inflationary token at the moment. So we wanted to figure out a better way to help projects source liquidity in a way that they could actually own it over the long term without relying on users and without giving away tokens for free, essentially, without any kind of good long-term solution. And in that process, we came up with treasury bills, which effectively allows projects to not only do that, but also diversify their treasuries as well. In an industry where we see most big crypto projects or protocols typically have upwards of 90+% of their treasury overexposed to their own native asset. We typically find that, especially in a bear market as we're in right now, that effectively just translates to 90+% of a project's treasury being completely wiped or obliterated by the markets. Now, obviously, I don't think there's any investor in the world that would recommend being 90+% overexposed to any single asset. And, obviously, we think that applies to crypto projects as well. So today, our product treasury bills is effectively solving this problem of helping projects diversify their treasuries away from their native assets in a way that also allows them to generate liquidity and be more sustainable over the long term. So to answer your question more specifically, why should projects think about owning liquidity versus renting it? Well, really, it just comes down to sustainability. In an industry that I think is plagued by high APRs and kind of unrealistic potential earnings and really just inflationary and Ponzi-nomics. I think projects thinking more about long-term sustainability, slow and progressive growth versus how can we quickly get as much liquidity at the expense of our own treasury and long-term success. I think it's a pretty easy calculation for most projects to do. So yeah, really that's kind of our biggest focus at the moment right now, especially going into 2023, is how can we help projects solve this massive problem that, again, they're all facing today. And kind of the first step in that direction is helping them with their liquidity issues. And then again, kind of taking that further into the realm of treasury diversification as we work with these different protocols.
Nice. Thank you so much, Julian. Yes, and I like what you say is that long-term, slow but steady development, right? Instead of really quick but also disappear in no time. Yes, and that's something that I am also really kind of like my goal, right? My long-term goal is doing that. Okay, so slowly, small steps, but each day and keep building. Thank you so much, Julian, for your intro, telling us what is the treasury bills and why do we need to select that. Okay, next we are going to bring microphone to our guest speaker, Leo. He's the founder of Atem Network, and there's a question for you. So Atem Review is helping creators tokenize their content and build Web3 communities. Could you please share with us how Atem Review contributes to the overall development of the Web3 space? And if you could also tell us a little bit about what is Atem Review, that would be great, because so far, let me see, we have over 2,000 audience, and I believe everyone are eager to learn more about our guest speakers projects as well. Thank you.
Thanks. So when it comes to the Web3 social area, in 2022, we have seen a lot of product innovations and a lot of experiments happening in this space. And going forward to Web3 to 2023, we believe that we will see more and more social products going to actually adopt users and actually acquire enough users for users to try Web3 social and to onboard more and more users into Web3. And we will say Atem Review is such a product to onboard Web2 users into Web3 with a good social product tools. And when it comes to what Atem Review is, I would say Atem Review is a content sharing platform with a decentralized infra and a social incentive system. About the decentralized infra, all the content posted on Atem Review will automatically store it on Arweave plus IPFS. In this way, we make sure that all content created on Atem is decentralized stored and is owned by users. And also, all the content created on Atem Review can be changed into NFTs. So creators can directly interact with their fans, and fans can directly collect their idols' content to directly interact with their creators. And also, to bootstrap the network, we have introduced a social incentive system to encourage creators to create content and engage with their fans on Atem Review platform. And within the one month launch of Atem Review, we have attracted over 10,000 users, created over 100,000 interactions, and also we have attracted over 1,000 creators, and also over 1,000 content will be created every day on Atem Review. So this is the basic data of Atem Review and how Atem Review is trying to experiment and help Web2 users to onboard in Web3. Thank you.
Very interesting. And well, I actually suddenly have an idea, since this is a video AMA, right? We could actually share screen, right? Share our web pages to all the audience, and maybe that would help them to learn more about our project. Thank you. This question is to Darren from DappOS. So the user experience, we know it's super, super important, right? To make the transaction frictionless. And how does the collaboration with DappOS bring more seamless UX to your users? Thank you, Darren. Darren, don't forget.
I got on mute.
Yes,
Zoom tells you.
I always do that too. I always do that too. Okay.
I got to unmute. So there's a couple ways in which DappOS helps bring seamless user experience to our users. First of all, DappOS's partners benefit from a common portal. So entrants, the users, will be able to see the DApp or decentralized exchanges that they want alongside others. It's going to be far more appealing for newcomers to the space to see these dApps and offerings in a single display and have to pick them up, scattered in links across Twitter and web searches. So DappOS aims to be a hub for dApps and DeFi. Another advantage of DappOS is confirmation for an entire operation requires only a single signature. So there's two ways in which this helps the users. Currently, in most wallet transactions, there are confirmations required for each iterative step, some of which are necessary subsidiary steps of chain. Okay, so DappOS eliminates all these extra steps. DappOS does this in part through streamlining gas fees. It allows BNB or ETH holders to pay gas on whatever chain they're using in BNB or ETH or even in DAI. And this is not a minor feature. I just want to underline this. Repetition would be a smaller problem if it didn't open up exploits for scammers and hackers. So a streamlined workflow will mean better security. Just as it's safer to travel directly from point A to B without stopping at points H, G, F, E, D, and C first. Okay, so furthermore, DappOS creates wallets for new users. One major barrier to Web3 remains the wallet. I mean, not your keys, not your coins. Crypto Twitter intones very ominously. It's almost scolding, right? Take your stuff off exchanges, da da da. Okay, I mean, it's less apparent to newcomers who have increasingly associated crypto with losses and scams. It's how to purchase a cold wallet or set up a hot wallet. I mean, we take this for granted in the space because we had to develop these skill sets. So DappOS does that. We'll set up the wallet. We'll create multiple avenues for password recovery aside from the 16 or 32 letter passphrase. So these recovery methods will be as secure as the traditional method, but easier for new users to the space. So taken together, this entire suite will allow users to find dApps they never have found before. We also are going to have a shared liquidity pool, which is coming. They will not have been able to use Web3 because of its complexity, and dApps would not have been able to appear to them because of Web3's muddied pond grand ecosystem. So we hope that we can even allow otherwise worthy and helpful dApps to survive and may not have been able to obtain funding to negotiate a major exchange listing. I mean, not every dApp can be GMX, which by the way, I wanted to congratulate you, GMX, on your like really high trading fees. Good job, you guys. Everybody in space got to be envious of you guys. But the current user experience deficit is actually a crisis for crypto. It's a crisis actually that's even greater than the crash of FTX because the exchanges are gatekeeping. So that's why DappOS is so important. We're non-custodial and we're providing a sort of like access for utility to use and trade on DeFi. So our idea here is to build a front end so anyone may feel she can jump into crypto. Yeah, we want to make a mobile app where you can open it and there's DeFi's best right there. And you can trade as easily as you would on a centralized exchange.
Thank you so much, Darren, for introducing this to us. And also, yeah, it's amazing that every time, Darren, you could bring so many different amazing guest speakers to our live stream, which means DappOS really have a lot of collaboration with different projects. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, and well, next we're going to go to our roundtable discussion. Our topic today is Moon or Doom, right? We're talking about Ethereum and Bitcoins. Those are the top two cryptos that a lot of people are really caring about, and we have so many holders. I believe our audience over here, yeah, a lot of them are also holders. Okay, so friends, yeah, keep typing our project names and you are going to have a chance to win as well. I see more and more friends typing, right? And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Later, we're going to pick some more winners as well. The first question we are having for our guest speaker is how to think holders of Bitcoins and Ethereums can survive, because we know this is bear market, right? Even though sometimes we have some we have seen some light, right? And also any suggestions that you personally have to wanted to share with the crypto holders. We're going to follow our posters orders, starting from Darren and then going to CoinFlip Canada and then going to Julian and Leo. How about that? Thank you.
Sorry, what was the question?
So for the Bitcoin and Ethereum holders, do you have any suggestions for them, or I would say for us, because I'm one of them?
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all holders of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB here. We should probably manage expectations because the macro environment is a little challenging for just tech entirely. Web 2 and crypto. I think all risk on assets have to compete with is it 5% now? Savings rate? It's almost 5%. It doesn't help matters that Bitcoin's inflation hedge narrative has fallen flat on its face. We have a little bit of time to build, but I do believe that ahead of the next halving for Bitcoin, enthusiasm should resume, regardless of whether Web 2 has recovered. I think the halving might save us. So I think we have about a year and some change to build as enthusiasm recovers. So Chris from GMX was saying that this is a strange bear market. It doesn't feel like a bear market because there's so much building, there's so much activities, and the influencers and the personalities, and they seem to be sticking around this time, which is what you would expect when you have a macro crash rather than a crypto specific downturn. I don't have any financial advice. I don't have any alpha on this. My suggestion would just be to put your Bitcoin and ETH reserves in a cold place. Keep your enthusiasm up. Try to follow crypto media and channels like this one. I think if you go to crypto Twitter itself, you're not going to feel optimistic. You're going to feel more energy coming to spaces like this. I think follow projects, go on spaces, listen to what's happening. It's going to remind you that, we're in a macro downturn. I think development's flourishing. And the foundations of Bitcoin and Ethereum seem solid as well. I mean, Ethereum had a really great and successful merge. And the media didn't report it, but emissions are down. Energy use is down 99.9%. just totally undercovered, just totally, forgotten down the memory hole that this amazing thing happened. Has any other industry accomplished what Ethereum just accomplished? I don't think it's happened. So I'll give you the same advice my guide did when I was whitewater rafting. I was in Bali, and we were just about to make a huge drop. And he said to me, he turned around and said to me, and it was me he talked to. There's like 4 people, and he's looking at me. He said, "Don't worry, be happy." So that's my advice.
I almost want to sing. Don't worry. Be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah, I almost want to sing that song. Okay, don't worry, be happy, friends. And next, we're going to bring the microphone to CoinFlip Canada. So also talking about, do you have any suggestions to Bitcoin, Ethereum, or BNB holders? Thank you.
Well, so I think there's a key piece, and obviously, I'm a contributor at GMX. We're a trading platform. People come and trade, but my first suggestion would be this: that don't ever feel overly euphoric. Don't ever feel overly pessimistic. I mean, the horizon of what's being developed by the horizon of Bitcoin, Ethereum, even BNB is extremely long, and you're really looking at something that has the potential, no guarantees in life, to be the base layer for so many things in our society going forward. So if you're viewing them as an investment, then you have to view them as how they're going to continue to grow in terms of utility. And I would just say, as I said, yeah, be very level-headed about it. I mean, I think that there should be some amount of that you just buy, you put it away, and you should never think about if it's going up or down in the short term. It shouldn't make you want to trade more, trade less because it's gone up or down. It's just up down the side. Beyond that, I mean, I would actually say that platforms like GMX are actually very interesting for being a passive liquidity provider. I do think both active and passive liquidity provision has been actually a very successful model, especially during this year, because it effectively, not exactly, but effectively during periods where the prices are going down, you end up accumulating more. During times when prices are moving up, without having emotion, you end up usually selling off, let's say, a little bit of exposure. And I think that's maybe not a bad way to have some of your assets. It's a way to continue to maintain exposure while generating, that yield that is very hard to get in this world right now. It's not risk-free, but it's from making sure that your assets are helping to create liquid markets. And I think that's something that is valuable. And I think anybody who I'll just use an example. I do a lot of conversations with people even in TradFi, people who are market makers, who do operations, and it's like, well, in their business they may not do something with GMX, but I know individually they put their money in it because they say, hey, we don't usually get opportunities to be able to deploy money the way our own businesses deploy money. So, DeFi is giving some interesting options to long-term holders of these assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, etc., to look at liquidity provision. And that's something I'd say is worth looking at for a portion of your assets.
Thank you so much, CoinFlip Canada, from our project GMX. Yeah, last year also, very high trading fees, right? Surpassed the Uniswap. Amazing. Thank you for sharing your opinion. And also, friends, friendly reminder to our over 4,100 views. Everything we share in this channel anytime, our personal views and non-financial advices. But I'm actually taking notes, okay, of our guest speakers, opinion, because always learning. Always growing, always building. Thank you, everyone. Next, we're going to bring our microphone to the next guest speaker. According to the order on the poster, would be Julian, head of BD from ApeSwap. Do you have any suggestions to crypto holders, especially Bitcoin, Ethereum, or BNB? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, as others have mentioned, I think things are definitely tricky at this time. The broader macro environment definitely is in a pretty bad place. So it definitely feels like things are going to get worse before they get any better. But that being said, I mean, everybody feels like that right now. So we always know how things pan out when everybody thinks the same way. But, definitely predicting more of a down year here from my perspective. I think, Ethereum, Bitcoin, definitely tricky investments for this year. I think anybody who's investing should definitely be thinking about this from a long-term horizon perspective. It's these are not short-term investments, and I think that's definitely advice that should be applied across the board, kind of regardless of the market, but especially at a time like this. I think, beyond Ethereum, Bitcoin, and some of the other more major blue chips, I think this is genuinely a good time to start looking for the long-term other winners, the altcoins that are going to be performing in the next couple of years. I think projects who have survived up to this point or are raising right now or building currently, given kind of the continued bear market that we've been enduring, are probably some of the better protocols. Obviously there's always exceptions to these rules, but I think overall, in comparison to the bull market, the projects that are sticking around and building right now are builders, to say the least, and are much less concerned with tokens and future price appreciation, and a lot more concerned with the products they're building and the experiences that they're building for the users that will be using those products as well. So kind of going back to what was brought up by CoinFlip as well, I definitely agree with his thought there. I think we'll see a lot of really successful products this year and probably less successful tokens. And I think, one really interesting area that investors could look into during this continued downturn, especially as we see so many people sitting on stable coins, is these different platforms today that are connecting real world assets to DeFi. I think there's a lot of potential there. Platforms like Goldfinch, Maple, Clearpool, things like that. I think we'll start to see a lot more development in those fields this year and probably the next year as well. So definitely some interesting opportunities there to earn yield that is, I guess, uncorrelated to the broader crypto markets. And yeah, could still keep people in DeFi and keep people building in the world that we all love. But overall, for Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, I think things are going to get trickier before they get better, to say the least.
I see. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. Yeah, definitely. Be very cautious, friends. Yeah, especially when we wanted to invest in some cryptos, right? Always DYOR means do your own research and do our own research. Thank you so much, Julian. And next we're going to bring this question to Leo under Atem Network. Yeah, do you have any suggestions, especially during this bear market, to our crypto holders, as we are focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think other guests has already shared a lot of great information and advice. And from my end, I would say Bitcoin and Ethereum in the long run will be a very good virtual asset, especially when it comes to one is the digital gold, and the other, Ethereum, is one of the underlying assets of a decentralized computing system. I would say, if you ask me, I would take out a little proportion, not too much, to deploy in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and put them all in a safe cold wallet and wait for the long run. That will be my advice, especially when it's the bear market and the price is going down. But no financial advice.
Thank you so much. Yes, no financial advice. However, yeah, we still want to learn from each of our guest speakers. That's why I think, friends, I highly recommend everyone to watch our live streamings replay after, about 30 minutes after this AMA. You will be able to come back to the same link and watch a replay, and maybe want to take some notes, or if you miss any important information, right? Always and follow our guest speakers project, because we don't want to miss more information. And next, we're going to talk about another topic related to the previous one. We know that pretty soon, coming in March, right, there will be the Ethereum upgrade. So we wanted to ask our guest speakers, do you think the upgrade will be delayed? That's the first question, considering it's a huge workload, the upgrade. And the second question is, if successful, will this upgrade drive the growth of the overall market? We're going to bring this question first to Darren from DappOS. Thank you.
Yeah, I have full faith in Ethereum's ability to upgrade in March. I mean, they won me over with their flawless conversion of the merge, which they don't get enough credit for. They should be given a lot of credit for that. But you may need to calm down on the idea that it's going to pump. There might be a small pump. There might be a modest boost, but I don't know how lasting it'll be. Because again, we've talked. I think there's a consensus that this is a macro downturn. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this. I want to hear from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yes, let's hear from each of our guest speakers. And yeah, it's definitely a macro downturn because I have friends working in the real estate field and they say, so slow, the market is so slow now. Yeah, so I have time to call me and then ask, Moonlight, can you teach us about Web3? Yeah, we also wanted to jump in and also maybe invest in some cryptos. Yeah, that's really interesting. And next, we're going to bring this same question to CoinFlip Canada. Well, do you think the Ethereum upgrade in March will be delayed because it's a huge workload, right? And also the second question is, if the upgrade is successful, will this drive the growth of our overall crypto market? Thank you.
So I think I'm more focused on, just making sure that whatever they do goes well. And I think that's one thing that this year they showed with the last upgrade. It wasn't rushed. It did take longer than expected. But I think the key piece was with all the attention that's on, the Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation, execution is more important. So, there's this old adage, right? Measure twice, cut once. And I think as long as that, they're applying all the testing, being very prudent about it. Just the fact that upgrades of this scale, like the transition, as Darren said, from proof of work to proof of stake, is so fundamental and so monumental a change, and for it to have happened so flawlessly. I mean, you're right. I don't think people give enough credit for how challenging a change that was. I mean, people say this wasn't moving from one car to another. This was from shifting from a moving speedboat onto an aeroplane. Like, I mean, this was just the transition was something really special. In terms of being bullish for again token price, etc., I think there does tend to be short-term volatility around these changes because the uncertainty of what will happen, then usually some bullishness around what has played out. But more importantly, I mean, the various upgrades that are planned for Ethereum, are really quite important. This one, after that, when we started getting into proto-dank sharding, very important for being, for L2s like Arbitrum, where GMX is based. That'll just, further help to expand and drive and help us be able to grow over there and lower fees. So a lot of interesting stuff and, bullish as a whole.
Nice, bullish. And yeah, I definitely hope that the fee can be lower because a lot of times I wanted to do some on-chain activities, right? Or mint some entities, but the gas fee is too high. And so that sometimes make me wondering, should I really do it? Okay. And also for a lot of new users, right, who just joined to Web3, they're also wondering, it kind of feels like every time when we go shopping, also need to pay additional tax, right? Kind of like that. So it's more expensive than the sticker price overall. Okay, thank you so much, CoinFlip Canada, for answering the question. And next, we're going to bring this question to Julian. He's the head of BD from ApeSwap. So there are two, right? There are actually two small questions. The first one is the Ethereum upgrade. Do you think it will be delayed because it's a lot of work, right? And the second question is, if the Ethereum upgrade in March is successful, will this bring drive the growth of our crypto market? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of really good points have been made already. But I definitely agree, I guess, first off, that I don't think enough props were given overall for the transition that happened recently. I mean, as was stated, it was pretty massive, and it happened so seamlessly. So I completely agree. I think more props need to be given there. In terms of the upgrade, I mean, yeah, I definitely think it'll be delayed. I think if any, past history is any example of how the future will go, I think definitely it will be delayed, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. As we've mentioned, I mean, everything went so smoothly on the latest upgrade that I just, don't see any reason why it would be negative to delay things. If things need to be delayed so that they can run as smoothly as possible, then great, let's delay them. And I honestly, I mean, people complained for so long about the delays in the 2.0 merge and everything, but I mean, to be truthful, I don't think it was a very big deal, I guess, that it took as long as it did. At the end of the day, right, we're still going to the same place. And I think this kind of touches on the price perspective as well. Like as CoinFlip mentioned, they'll probably drive some short-term price volatility, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, all these upgrades are just culminating towards, the long-term bullish case for Ethereum. And I think that's all that really matters, right? All these upgrades need to happen, and they're pushing us in the direction of a more bullish ETH. And I think long term, they will definitely be major contributors to market growth and to price growth for ETH. But in the actual moment, I probably wouldn't expect anything too massive.
I see. So still, yeah, keep calm, and keep building, and also, yeah, and you mentioned that because it's a huge workload, right? So definitely probably going to be delayed. And that also reminds me of a lot of other projects, especially the AAA GameFi, right? Normally take them so many years to finally present the game, and also burning a lot of money, right? So nothing is really easy, and friends, let's be patient and wait and see. Next, we're going to bring this question to Leo. He's the founder of Atem Network. We want to ask you two questions. Number one is, do you think the Ethereum upgrade originally scheduled in March will be delayed? And the second is that if the upgrade is successful, will this upgrade drive the growth of our market? And we already drive the growth of our viewers. We have over 6,000 right now, just for everyone's information. Thank you. My phone to Leo.
Yeah, thank you. First, I would say, based on the information I have and my friends who is working on Ethereum upgrade related works, I would say March will be a pretty reliable timeline for the Ethereum upgrade, but everything can change. But based on current information, I would say I do have confidence that the Ethereum upgrade will be successful as expected. And I would say if the upgrade is successful, it will definitely drive the growth of the market. First, it's about the upgrade of the TPS, which will definitely unlock the potential of Ethereum, and more applications can be built upon this. And second, from POW to POS, I would say the whole financial model of Ethereum will be switched into a much more attractive model. And I would say, from my perspective, I would prefer the new model rather than the previous model. Yeah, so I would say this upgrade will drive the growth of the market.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Leo. Also seems like you have some inside news. Thank you.
No, it's not inside news. It's just my friend is working on the Ethereum staking related work, so it's more familiar with this stuff.
I see. Yeah, well, it always, people will say like, if we know something in advance, right, that might bring us some benefits. But always, friends, non-financial advices. But it feels like, ooh, we learned something. Okay. And next question over here. Well, we are going to talk about competitions. We know it's never easy to build a startup project, especially in the very early stage in the Web3 space, right? So for each of our guest speakers, could you please let us know what features will your project roll out that is going to make your team, your project, your product truly stand out from the competitors? And also, have everyone watch Shark Tank. I love it. I love the concept of Shark Tank, and yeah, it's just so much fun to learn about different projects and see how they could stand out, right, from a bunch of competitors. It's really interesting, and yeah, also learn a lot from how to survive. Okay, so first to Darren from DappOS. I definitely looking forward to see DappOS to roll out a lot of new features this year.
Yeah, so I think I talked a little bit about the features before, so I'll just kind of sum it up. For last year, just to get an anchor, the big moment for us was when we were awarded Binance Labs incubation. We were offered a 8 to 12-week curriculum tailored to our project's requirements, include a lot of exclusive ecosystem resources, access to blockchain market leaders. We just completed demo day, I think, and then there's post-incubation continuous support. It's really helpful in this kind of macro environment to have that kind of support. Moving forward, our short-term plan, I could say our phase 1 focus, is to bring our solution to existing dApps. We're a chain agnostic workflow simplified solution for them without the need to redeploy current contracts. And our integration is going to offer a seamless experience across chains with all the features that I mentioned before, which is to say, a single click, single signature sort of solution. We're gonna a little bit emphasize our partners and developers and projects in this phase 1. But as our solution continues to evolve, our long-term ambition, our phase 2 strategy is to establish a self-contained gateway to Web3, a sort of mobile app where countless user-friendly dApps can be accessed all in one place. We're trying to enable Web3 accounts with the ease of the Web 2 user experience, and the rough estimate launch for this will likely be around when we release our token. So either Q4 of this year or Q1 of 2024. And I think the big thing is going to be for us is going to be the token, because we can finally reward all the loyal community that we're gathering now with some incentive, and then they can come and use the utility of our token. It's going to be a big year for us. So in that sense, I'm very much moved in terms of what we're building, what I'm seeing being built by other projects. Very much moon and not very do.
Awesome. Yes, to the moon. And after this round, asking each of our project representative features, of your product or your project, later when we are sum up today's discussion, everyone will also have a chance to show your web pages or your social media handles to everyone. So everyone can get ready to open that web pages, and later I'm going to each of us that we should share screen, right? Because I think this is really the advantage of doing our video AMA. So all our audience, so far we have over 6,700 already. So it's a great opportunity to really showcase your web pages and your products to everyone. Thank you. And next we're going to bring this question to CoinFleet Canada from GMX.io. It's a core contributor there. Could you please share any features that GMX is going to roll out that will make your project stand out from the competitors this year? Thank you.
Yeah, so if I talk of, so just using the example, if 2022 was a period of time where GMX really scaled up our liquidity, I mean, we have over $400 million of liquidity, which is able to create these big, deep liquid markets on chain. I won't say there's such a thing as too much capital, but there's almost too much capital for the existing model, because GMX was sort of built as a proof that even with very little capital, you could trade liquid, efficient liquid markets on chain. So a lot of the focus of some of the core contributors has been on something that we've termed GMX Synths, or GMX synthetic markets. It's effectively our kind of almost like a 2.0. It really reflects how we think we can create even more efficient markets on chain using more and more information on market structure. That's really been the real focus. It's something that our governance decided should be the focus, sort of, and everybody has sort of, moved in that direction. We're sort of working through our final audits. We already completed 2 audits. We're still doing updates. We're working with some key partners on the Oracle side as well, which I can't name, but will be very interesting. So, with all of that, we're hoping that by the end of this quarter, we'll be live with GMX Synths. And we're really excited because we think that we'll be able to create, really big, deep on-chain markets, which, as we said, all the ecosystem who's building around us will be able to plug into. And, hopefully working with the DappOS team, we'll be able to bring access to for, anybody from any chain.
Awesome. Yes, access to anybody from any chain. That is amazing. I'm looking forward to that feature to roll out as well. Thank you. And also, please prepare your GMX project's social media handle page or the official website. So later you could share screen with all our audience. And I believe today we're also going to hit another 10,000 views as well. Okay, next we're going to bring microphone to our guest, Julian. He's head of BD from ApeSwap. Could you please also tell us that if there will be any new features that ApeSwap will roll out this year to make your project stand out among the competitors? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So as I mentioned, we've been really focused on sustainability, especially this past year. And I think that focus has really allowed us to hone in on our product offering and really find, what is going to be that kind of key differentiator in kind of solving this massive problem the market faces, which is kind of this lack of diversity in treasuries. So, moving forward now into 2023, we're very confident in the product market fit that we've found. And at least for our short-term goal right now, I think we're going to be very focused on education, helping both projects and users learn more about liquidity, learn more about decentralized exchanges, and really do so from the lens of sustainability, which we think is very important and very much a perspective that's lacking in this space at the moment. And then long term, we're really going to be focusing more on treasury diversification, kind of, moving past simply thinking about this from the perspective of liquidity and helping projects build up their own protocol-owned liquidity, but moving into full-on treasury diversification and helping them move away from only holding their native assets, and again, better be set up for long-term success and any potential market and eventualities that might face those projects. So yeah, very much focused on sustainability, very much focused on bringing more of our Treasury Bills product to both users and projects, and getting as many projects as we can onboarded and as many users educated on these topics.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julian, for sharing. Yes, sustainability is, as you say, I think for a lot of projects, kind of lack of this kind of mindset, right? Especially, well, I'm more familiar in the NFT project. I think so many of them just launch it and then disappear, gone, kind of like sort of a soft rock. So sad. Looking forward to ApeSwap's development as well. Next, we are going to bring this question to Leo, his founder at Atem Network. So the question is, well, are you going to roll out any features for ApeSwap that will make your project stand out from the competitors? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So in 2022, we have successfully attracted a lot of users to try our Web3 social products. And we also built an interesting community to continue to optimize our product. And in 2023, our target is to bring more users into our products and onboard more and more Web2 users into Web3 with the social apps. So in the next 6 to 12 months, there are several features that we will highly prioritize. The first one is we will continually optimize our social incentive system to reward creators who actively create content on Atom Review and interact with their fans. And second, one of the most important features will be the mobile apps. Currently, all the Atom Review is run on PC version, and although all the structure is, and we are also trying to bridge the decentralized structure into the mobile apps. And we believe as a social apps, users are more convenient with mobile rather than PC, especially under today's competition with TikTok, Instagram, which is all mobile apps. So I would say these two big features will be the most important features for Atom in 2023. And we believe with the mobile app and a good social incentive system, we can bring decentralized social media to Web2 users without the knowledge of their using a decentralized social infrastructure. Yeah, that's the target for Atem Network. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. Well, I think nowadays we're kind of like attached to our cell phones, right? So mobile apps definitely going to help to bring more users. Just like now, I believe most of our close to 8,000 views over here, right? Most of us are actually watching through the Binance app as well. Looking forward to it, and well, download to try. Once again, thank you all our speakers. Darren from DappOS is the ecosystem lead, and CoinFlip Canada core contributor from GMX.io, Julian, head of BD from ApeSwap, Leo, founder at Atem Network, and we missed Chris this time, but next time, Darren, feel free to bring him back. Yeah, founder of DAO Maker. Thank you so much, as always. And today our topic was BTC and Ethereum in 2023 Moon or Doom. Thank you. Wow, guess wow, we hit 9.9 thousand views, friends. Come on, just a few more.
Wow.
We are going to reach 10,000. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time here. And as always, wish you a great rest of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Also, Happy Lunar New Year in advance, everyone. We're going to see you all again next time. Bye.